Well, we're joined now by legal analyst Nthabiseng Dubazana. Nthabiseng, good evening to you. Thanks for your time. Any surprises in as far as the decision made by the court today?
No, not really. I feel like the court was very decisive and very clear in the initial judgment that they made when it came to the actual trial itself, the way that the judge actually analyzed the facts and then applied the law to it in terms of how premeditated murder would be dealt with and how the terms and elements of murder are dealt with, and applied them correctly to the facts of the case. So when the appeal came, nitpicking at things that could have been contradictory, like the judge said today when he was handing down his judgment, but not contradictory to an extent that would entice him to relook at the case and say that an appeal court will then come to a different decision.
Of course, Shoba would have to think really long and hard about what his next move, what his next move will be. The Supreme Court of Appeal, known to not be very kind in cases of this matter. We remember what happened with Oscar Pistorius, who tried to appeal his own judgment and ended up with an even longer sentence.
That is very correct. Most likely the next step would be for them to petition the SCA to see if they'll even hear this matter. But looking at the reasoning that was handed down today by the presiding officer, the likelihood of that even succeeding is slim to none. I mean, the things that we're looking at the fact that the issue of the cell phone number that sent the threatening texts was not thoroughly investigated, but that it has no real material weight rather on the actual crime having been committed. And then they were looking at issues of the fact that there were cigarettes that were being sold during lockdown illegally, but here's the partner of one of the criminals there, or rather the accused person, there, who confirmed that there was no such thing happening. So these things are material, but not material to an extent that it can remove the onus from the accused to say that he did not actually commit the crime, or at least be complacent in having committed the crime on that day.
What would Shoba and his lawyers have to do in order to really prove that this case needs to be relooked?
So the main thing that one would want to remove from the elements that are, that derive or form what we call murder is unlawfulness, intention, and the act itself. The one thing that the lawyers are trying to show is that the accused lacked any intention and to the commission of the actual act itself. So that's what they would have to try and prove to the SCA when they petition them, and say, based on whatever allegations, if the argument hasn't changed from what it was today and it remains the same, then it would mean that based on these arguments that they were bringing forth to the court today, the accused therefore did not have the intention to commit the crime, and if he lacked intention to commit the crime, he therefore did not commit it, and as a result the conviction and sentence should then be removed, and then then he'll be found not guilty, So those things, looking at the argument that they put forth before the court today, on Friday, then I don't see that being much of a success going forward.
All right, let's leave it there for tonight. Thanks for your analysis. Legal analyst Nthabiseng Dubazana there.